So if you're trying to lose weight, chances are you've been trying to count your calories recently, or at least you've been told about the importance of calorie restriction for losing weight. And yeah, if you want to lose fat, a large part of that is going to be being in a caloric deficit. Now you can lose fat in other ways. There's such thing as a body recomposition where you eat at maintenance calories and you lose fat as a result of a new training stimulus being introduced, which again, this is typically for beginner lifters who can gain muscle and lose fat at the same time because beginner gains and a new optimization to their diet. But for most people, especially if your diet's already optimized to some degree, you do need to count calories at least in your head in order to lose some weight. Or at least be able to eat in a caloric deficit without trying. But bottom line, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So for most people, especially like me, I struggle with this for a long time, it's a little bit difficult to know exactly what you're burning. So I'm going to give you the framework that I use to count my calories. That's been pretty accurate, and I honestly don't measure much of what I eat. Like if I'm eating something from a package, then I'll check the calories, but typically I can eyeball it these days, just because I've Googled the calories and things so many times, and that's one thing I will tell you to do in this video. But let's get into it. So first things first, find out your basal metabolic rate. Just go on Google and look up BMR calculator, and there will be like 20 results. Take 2 or 3 of them, 4 or 5 even, the more the better kind of. But just get a few answers and then average them out. And when you do these calculations, if it asks you for your activity level, because some of these will be maintenance calorie calculators and not just flat BMR, put sedentary, put little to no movement, because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to figure out how many calories your body burns at rest. So if you were to lie down all day and do nothing except breathe and digest and have your heart beat, how many calories would you burn? And it's actually a lot more than you think. For me, I'm about 168 pounds right now, 5 feet 9 inches, 20-year-old male. For me, it's about 1850 to 1900 calories, right? And then you burn 100, maybe 200 more just doing small things throughout the day. But we're just looking for BMR right now, so don't worry about that. So find your basal metabolic rate. Find your BMR first and keep that number somewhere, right? Find the average of what 4 or 5 of these calculators say, because that'll be the most accurate answer. Not all of them are perfect. And then keep that number in mind. Write it down. Next thing, you're going to start tracking what you're eating. So don't worry, if you're new to this, don't worry about a diet, don't worry about any of that. Just get a calorie tracking app, like something like MyFitnessPal or the Fitbit app or MyNet Diary, something like that. And then just write down, well, not even write down, just record the calories in everything you eat, right? So whenever you eat something, write it down in your phone notes, and then after your meal, check all the food items you ate, write an approximate size of what you ate, and then Google the calories in it. You can measure your food. I do think you should do this, like just get, a measuring cup or something and measure how much you're eating, but it's not necessary. We'll talk about that. You can get pretty damn good at eyeballing stuff. So that's the second thing. Track how much you're eating. Get a pretty decent estimate of how many calories you're taking in every day. Then here you can already start to see, well, my BMR is 1800 calories and I'm eating 2500 a day. No wonder I'm not losing weight. But then there's the third factor that could kind of save this, that could kind of make this make a little more sense. Exercise. Exercise burns calories. We all know that. And these apps, like I mentioned, MyFitnessPal, Fitbit, MyNet Diary, I use the third one. It's free. It's the one I'm on now. They'll give you their own built-in calculators for estimating the calorie burn from different activities. So every time you do exercise now, put that into those apps as well, along with the food you eat. And then you can kind of start to see now how this all adds together. So the app has your basal metabolic rate. I don't know what that was. The app has your basal metabolic rate. Now it has the amount of food you're eating every day. And then it has the exercise you're doing as well. So now you combine these 3 things together and you have your calorie balance for the day. So at this point, you know what to do. You just need to make sure you're burning more than you're consuming if you're trying to lose weight. So that's the basics of the system. Now there's some little intricacies to it, because again, Hard to know how many calories are in everything. I do not think you should just buy things in containers so you know exactly the calories you're eating, because things in containers are processed and will really screw with your weight loss process. But and your health as well. That's another thing. But learn generally how many calories are in things. So look up how many calories are in 100 grams of chicken, and then learn how to eyeball what 100 grams of that meat is like. Typically, I believe 100 grams of chicken is about the size of the palm of your hand and the thickness of a deck of cards. So, again, don't quote me on that. That's just off the top. But just start Googling these things every time every time you eat. How many calories are in this? How many calories are in that? If there is a package, use the package. If you can, get a scale and weigh what you're eating, and then convert that on Google. That's the most accurate way. Let's say you're having a piece of chicken breast and you think it's 100 calories, or 100 grams, but it's actually 125 grams. Put that on the scale, you'll find that out. Take that number, put it into Google, you have the exact amount of calories you're eating, almost down to the ones, you know? You don't even have to round to the tens. And that'll be pretty much exact amounts for everything you eat. Now for me, I don't even weigh my food. I'm just good at eyeballing it now, but I probably could have saved a few months on my cut if I was weighing. So, just to summarize, find your basal metabolic rate, find how much you're eating, right? Track how much you're eating, and then track how much you're burning. Put those all together, make sure you're burning more than you're consuming, and you will lose weight. That's how you count calories. Thank you.